fans wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to ride me, oh, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Pay attention, I'm on a mission. I'm there with the vision. Got a passion, making it happen. Ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to ride me, oh, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who try to ride me, oh, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. Hey! Here we go! We coming ready or not, you better steady yourself, because we're raising some hell. There's nothing keeping this roof from blowing off. We're taking over the town, hit the switch and shut it down. Like in New York, we're electric, never stop. We coming ready or not, we coming ready or not. We're giving all that we got, we're giving all that we got. We're coming ready or not. We're throwing gas on the fire, the stratosphere getting high. We're trouble when we get crazy, we get wild. Got dynamite in our blood, get ready and buckle up when we
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new Click It RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at Click It RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Well, good evening, race fans. It is round number 6 for the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series. Obviously, there's a little bit different scenery here because normally we see Daniel Falkingham sitting in the middle. This time it's Jason Rockefeller. We got Brad Perez, driver in the truck series, is here. And, well, we're sporting some really nice colors. I got the Tennessee Titans on, and, well, the Miami Dolphins colors never hurt anybody. Brad, how are you?
I'm doing well. We lost our pick in the first round, so I'm not doing as well as I could be. But I'm ready to watch some pixelated cars go around in a circle.
I like that, Jason. Pixelated cars going around in a circle for the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series. Jason, long time no see. I feel like we just called Mid-Ohio last night. Are you ready for some Dover action? You called it on Monday night for the Click It RV truck series, and now here we go again to see it once more. What kind of action we see tonight?
Yes, I actually did not call the Click It RV Fix series, but close enough. I still did call a race at Dover. I called a broadcast. Yeah, I called a broadcast for the Martin Sports Truck Series. Very interesting race, and I tell you, yep, there you go. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Yep, official soft drink at eNASCAR. But overall, it was a great race. I enjoyed it, and that was an open setup race, and it's going to be the same thing here tonight for these guys over here in the Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series. So going to be interesting. It's my home track. I always love Dover. It's a driver's track. A lot of guys complain about it, but it's one of those tracks where it's either you love it or you hate it.
How many wins do you have here, Jason, at Dover? Because I can tell you how many I have, a big fat 0.
I want to say 3 or 4, maybe. You got to remember, I'm like barely on the sim really anymore because I'm so caught up with college and other things. So, but I try. I love running ARCA cars here before they put in the new Gen 4.
Well, Brad, I guess I'll have to ask you, how many wins did you have in the pixelated cars at Dover?
And in NR 2003, about 12 years ago, I won a Busch Series race at Dover. That's the extent of my memory. I probably have an iRacing win there, but I don't remember.
Isn't that the craziest thing, that drivers tend to remember when they win, but when they don't win, they remember it twice as hard? Like my first win was Kansas, and nobody tends to believe me until we go to Kansas and I run really well. And then they go, wait, you're just a broadcaster. You have no idea how to run these cars. But tonight we're going to see, I don't know, Brad, if you've kept up with the Road to Pro Series or not, but we have seen some of the top drivers come out to compete. This has been a really high split. I mean, split 2, we've seen 6Ks in there all the way down to the very end. Split 3 is still 6Ks into 5Ks. Like, you got to be really, really, really good to get in the top split. And Ray Alfalo won top split last time. We got a lot of drivers down here that's going for a lot of cool things. And, well, we just figured we'd add you to the mix.
Well, I'm excited to see it. I definitely saw the roster of drivers, and these are a lot of drivers that I'm familiar with. So, what that tells me is that there's a reason why they're there. So, just hearing the splits for strength of field, I am now confident saying that I probably would be slotted in 4th split. So, thank God I didn't try.
That is pretty solid. We actually got cars on track, so this is really, really fun as we're starting to put times down in practice. Jackson Crowder jumped to the top there for a second. A lot of these drivers was racing in the 600-mile race last night that Blake McCandless put on an e-racer. And Anthony Burrows, I don't know if we have a shot of the 4 car who just jumped to the pits. He's covering, or his car or truck is covered with FTN colors this week. Jason, who do you got your eye on tonight?
I mean, it's really hard not to choose Anthony Burrows here in that number 4 truck. I mean, he's been so fast. He dominated just a couple weeks ago at not Dover. We're here tonight at Bristol. And a late pit strategy call. He pitted with just a handful of laps to go. And unfortunately couldn't make it back to the front, but he did come back all the way to finish in 4th, along with James Wenzel. He was another guy, dominated as well with Anthony last week, and not last week, a couple weeks ago, just couldn't get it done, made the same mistake as Anthony by pitting, couldn't make it back up to the front, but I think Anthony Burrows is going to have something here. He's in the top 5 in practice, so keep your eye on Anthony Burrows for sure.
It's definitely going to be fun as qualifying is now underway. There's Nate Stewart, who just wrapped up the eNASCAR College Series in the 2 truck here tonight. Did not have the run he wanted, got wrecked in the first caution, and now he finds himself in 2nd split for the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing Series. It'll be interesting to see where he slots out, Brad, because he hasn't had the best of luck.
Well, I do not know his history. I do know that I've raced with him in the past, and he's pretty quick. I really hope that he ends up with a clean race, because that would probably mean that he would have a good race.
That's helpful insight though, because if you don't wreck, you have a good one. But yes, driver over here from Hopkinsville Community College will slot his time lap number 1 across the line.
Woo!
He did not get the corner
there.
he wanted, and he stopped it. There's Jordan Kunston, the 13. He'll come out here. Kwame Scott jumps to P number 1 as Kyle Peddle quickly jumps and ahead of him with a 22.4. It's a 22.45. We'll set P2 at the moment, and Kyle Peddle put 1 lap down and done. 1 lap should be about all these drivers are going to want to put down here this afternoon, as Jordan Kuntz is going to jump all the way up to P4 with the 22.50. Jason, 2nd lap, 1st lap. Which one are you taking here?
I mean, that's a tough decision. I mean, this isn't like a restrictor plate type track where your first lap's always going to be faster. You could have more heat in the tires on your 2nd lap, and you could do a lot better than your first lap. Obviously, you're coming to green, so you want to make sure that you have a really good exit off turn 4. You want to make sure that you're able to get that car, or the truck, pointed in the center. Want to make sure that you're able to drive off just a little bit better. Trouble spots is always going to be off the corner. Miles the Monster is always hungry As you see Ben Baffert there in the 25 machine, he almost hit the wall there off turn number 4 because, and we all know as race fans here, and especially me, I've been coming here since 2008. Miles is always hungry, no matter what occasion, no matter what lap, wherever you are on the track. That wall, Miles' hand, whatever you want to use it as a metaphor as, he can reach out and he'll grab you very, very quickly.
Will grab you as Mitchell Hunt goes up to P2. Jackson Crowder goes to 3rd. Connor Euroshak in 4th. Rule Alvis is P5, pushing Kwame Scott down to the 6th place position. There's Anthony Burrows getting ready to set time in that number 4 Ford F-150. We will more than likely see where things are going to shake out, as a lot of these drivers have already set times. He's one of the final few, maybe called a cloud, wanted to hang up. 24 has set time. Out of the drivers who are in here, I believe there are 35 that will take to this track, the old concrete monster mile. I'm not necessarily surprised as you look at Burrows catching off of turns 3 and 4 to set his time down. He is going to slot P5. So not a bad time there for Anthony Burrows. But Brad, so far, you see all these drivers setting their time in. Anybody jumping off the page to you that you know?
I mean, at first I was looking at the 25's lap, and man, the way that he was able to get to the bottom in turn 1, not even have to go up, I mean, probably like a foot or so center of the corner and still get really good drive off. I mean, that's a good handling truck. So I was like, man, that looks like a fast lap, probably top of the board. And I look, and he puts a 22:45 down, and I'm like, wow, man, how was that not too quick? And then I look at pole being at 22:41. So that split between even 2nd to 6th on the board is insane, super close. So I think we're going to have a pretty tight battle for the pole, but I think during the race it's definitely going to be pretty tight to the field.
Yeah, there was Kyler Wynn who set his time down. A lot of people know him across the community. I got to know and see Kyler Wynn race in Moon Car. I enjoy that on my off time as Kyler sets P7 on the board. Justin Lowry, that time does not look accurate at all at a 38-second lap time. We'll see what the number 22 can do in that Chevy. He comes through 3 and 4. We'll see what time he puts down. Well, he's not going to get a time. So, yeah, time is up, kind of like John Cena's run in the WWE. But who am I but a wrestling fan? We'll take a look at the starting lineup here when the producer puts it across the screen for us. Starting on pole here this afternoon for round number 6 at Dover, Kyle Peddle with Mitchell Hunt to the outside. Row number 2, Jackson Crowder and Philip Groner. Row 3, you'll find Connor Euroshak and Anthony Burrows. Row 4, Kyler Wynn and Rule Alvis. And rounding out the top 10 here this afternoon, Kwame Scott and Ben Badford, Jason.
And then to round out your top 20, row 6, you got Dallas Tasca there and Caden Rush in the number 30 machine. Row 7, Will Cooley in the number 10, and James Wenzel with a fast run at Bristol a couple weeks ago. He'll start row 7 in the 15 machine. Row 8, Dalton Collins in the number 8, and Jordan Kuntz in the number 13. Row 9, River Hayes and Matthew Batby. And to round out the top 10, you have Santiago Tires and Matthew Zwack in the number 7.
We got row 11 with Garrison Hogan with Seth Ryder to the outside. Row 12, Max Brady and Robbie Vrabel Jr. Row 13, Nathan Nicholson and Tyler Groff. Row 14 goes to Octavio Rondoletto and Sander Neefhoff. I'll screw that one up all night. Nate Stewart and Lawson Pill rounds out 30th. Petty Ziller, I'll screw that one up too, with Matthew Morton. And Eddie Kroner and Justin Lowry with Brad Davies rounding out your field here of 18 rows deep. Wow, that was a mouthful, and we got 120 laps of this, Brad.
Oh yeah, thank God you did not dish it over to me for that starting grid, because I would have butchered it worse than you would have.
Well, you know, there comes a time when the producer comes in your ear and says, if you don't figure these names out, we'll probably just mute you, right? And you kind of get that down the road. So it happens on the sim just like the real life as well. I've got a name this weekend that I'm going to butcher over and over and over again until somebody says, hey, this is the name. It is really long. And my attention span's like a squirrel. I'll go all over the place, but we're getting ready to go. Pace car holds the field intact. It'll turn down here in just a moment. They're in 3 and 4 as we speak with Kyle Peddle and Mitchell Hunt holding this. We're going to get ready to go 120 miles around Miles the Monster as they come to the Geico restart zone. On the loud pedal, green flags in the air. We're racing at Dover.
And Kyle Peddle has a great start right there. Jumps out, Terry, all the way down to turn 1. As you look at Philip Broder right there, the 33 machine, he's going to look to the inside of Michael Hunt. He's going to pick up that spot as they go flying down the back straightaway underneath the bridge, downhill into turn 3 as they head back to the start-finish line.
We're going to get lap
really
one
good jump by the 5 there.
Yeah, no, I was about to ask, what are we at this moment in the run needed to see from these trucks to say, okay, we're tire saving or we're not?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's up to the lead guy and the guy in second to really set the pace, because as much as you do want to keep up pace with that truck in front of you, the more that you wear your tires out will kind of screw you over later in the run. So with no guaranteed caution, I don't want to be that first truck in line. I kind of want to be like the 5th or 6th one, being able to manage my pace with my peers.
Well, you look at the board there for a second. Kyler Wen actually set on the second lap, the fastest lap so far of the race with a 23.18. That's a 10th faster, or a couple hundredths faster than the rest of the field. He's the first one to pop into the ones here, as now Jackson Crowder sets it with a 23.10. He goes flat with it here. But tire saving, Jason, we see it all the time. We see it in the Click It RV series here on LSRTV. We see it in a lot of other racing series, the Coke series, the College series. What kind of place is this? Is this going to destroy the tires, or is this going to be kind of like, hey, let's ride for a little bit and figure it out?
You know, it's honestly, Terry, it's a little bit of both. You want to just kind of ride around. You don't want to push yourself. My buddy Kenny Brady always taught me how to run this track. And obviously, I'm a Jersey guy, so this is a track that's always like, oh, you got to run here. You got to run good here, man. If you don't run good here, you suck. You know, and you're not a real race fan. If you can't do good at your home track, I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people, they're good at their home track, some aren't. But anyways, I mean, these guys are going to be racing here for 120 laps. You're going to want to absolutely save those tires, run it hard for. Oh, did you see one truck? Oh, big pile up.
That would be the 7. That would be Matthew Swack getting in the wall. The 10 of Wheel Cooley collects. There's the 20 machine. He's involved. That is going to be Eddie Kerner and Nathan Nicholson, all collected in the first accident. And well, that looks exactly like what I did last night in the PRL Xfinity race. Popped the wall and the field goes with them, Brad. You know better than we do. Racing at Dover, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Yep, especially coming off of 2. You can't see a dang thing in front of you if you're right up on that truck in front of you. So that plus the accordion, the track closes pretty quickly. There's walls everywhere. Really hard to find an escape path.
It is really hard to find any type of escape, but here at the moment, it's kind of a self-cleaning racetrack, as if it'll just clean you out. And you see the wreck up in front, and it's just really hard. Got on the brakes there. It's the 99 machine on our screen. We'll see what is that driver's name. It'll be on that car. We pull that one up, or maybe see that.
Looked like somebody got put in the wall up there. And when they got put up in the wall back there, middle of the straightaway, somebody checked up, and not everybody checked up, and caused that accordion.
That's a tough break for a lot of drivers in this field. 24th on back comes down pit lane. Those drivers were either involved in this incident or decided to get in here. Yeah, we just heard in our ear that it's the 99 is the 17 of Nathan Nicholson. So Crazy thing, a lot of these drivers listened to us 2 weeks ago, Jason, and they stopped running stopped running numbers and started going with the sim stamp number for us.
Yeah, well, that always helps us, especially for us being in the booth. You know, this being an official race technically, and them having to use official numbers up on the leaderboard, but then they'll run their custom paint schemes from Trading Paints and so on. But interesting thing about that caution right there, and when I was talking about the tire strategies and saving and stuff like that, Will Cooley's truck just jumped sideways, and I mean that thing overcorrected, went head on right with the right front fender, right to the outside retaining wall there off turn number 2, and then you just can't see it. You can't see anything. Like Brad said, right there off 2, and I mean that's where you see a lot of what they call big ones here at the Monster Mile. You've seen it countless times. You've seen it in 2016, or it was 2017 when Johnson won his final Dover race. You saw it in 2012 in the spring race. You saw it in 2008, 2007. Almost every year prior to about like 2015, you've seen some sort of big one on the back straightaway, and it is a self-cleaning racetrack, and that's just the way that the Monster works, baby.
Yeah, a couple drivers have flipped over here in their time. Clinton Boyer in an old Busch race, then now the Xfinity Series, and like Joey Logano flipping in the 20 in the Cup Series, or back then I think it was the Sprint Cup or the Monster Energy Cup. I lost track of all the names. It's just the Cup Series regardless. But we'll try attempt number 2 at getting the restart here. We're going to come to lap 10 as it is still the 5 machine of Kyle Peddle holding it, green flags in the air. We're racing again. Jackson Crowder gets a good run. Philip Groner, the 33 machine, holding it up there, trying to take a peek for second, Jason.
Yeah, and Kyle Peddle didn't get nearly as good of a start as he did, and Jackson Crowder is one to also look out for tonight. He was very strong just a couple weeks ago at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. He came home second, then Dalton Collins came home in third. So don't sleep on Jackson Crowder. He is a driver who very well could pick up a win here tonight at Dover. I mean, and this is the thing, when I go back to the tire strategy before that caution came out, you're going to separate the men from the boys here in the long runs. And if we do get a really big long run, see big block right there down the back straightaway, that's the 25 of Ben Baffert there. He had to go all the way to the inside of Raul Albus right there, heading into 3. But you're going to separate the men from the boys once you start to settle in with the tire wear and so forth. Because if you save more tire, you're going to be 3, 4, 5 tenths quicker than some guys out on the long run. So, I mean, if I were these folks watching, Jackson Crowder, do not sleep on him. He is one to reckon with.
Be a really good thing to see as you look at Ben Baffert in the 11th place position. And Brad, you talked about it a little while ago that you would rather be a driver in 5th. What about these drivers a little further on back in the field with the dirty air? Is that going to affect what the tire wear, perceives to be down the road?
Oh yeah, and I think what's really tough when you're kind of, I would say probably like 13th through about 25th, is that you're stuck with guys that didn't either get a really good qualifying lap that should have gotten one, or guys who got a way better qualifying lap than they are race pace. So having to manage a slower truck in front of you or behind you is going to be tough, because track position is huge here at Dover. You guys can see it's kind of single file, so every bit of track position matters, and getting stuck behind somebody and wearing your tires out makes your problem way much worse.
You look at the battle on your screen for the 13th position. That would be Max Brady going after Caden Rush, trying to get up a couple positions. Max Brady is up 9 at the moment. Octavio Rondoletto is up 11. And then you got Sander I think it's Niehoff. I'm going to go with Niehoff up 11 as well. But our biggest mover so far in this race is Brad Davies up to 20th from 35th starting position. Now I make that 16 as he gets around Matthew Morton a little further back, as that is the first side-by-side battle here this afternoon for the 19th position, as all of these drivers trying a different line than what we normally see work here with the arc and the diamond of the corner, Jason, but washing it in, letting it ride up just a little bit, and then getting the run down below.
Yeah, but I tell you what, though, Terry, the more that those guys stamp on the outside here on the concrete surface of the Monster Mile, the more their tires are going to wear out, just like any other racetrack, whether it be asphalt or whatever it may be. And Brad Davies is doing a very good job up to 19 plus 16. from where he starts. He's doing a very, very good job. But you're going to see a lot of guys lay off right before the bumps heading into turns 1 and turns 3. That's a very big key. If you lay off any further past those humps or bumps or whatever you want to call it, it can create even more tire wear, and it'll shred that right front. And you're going to be very tight in the long run as we're starting to have a battle for the lead. I talked about it. Jackson Crowder here, Brad. He's starting to really gain on Kyle Petty heading into 2.
I mean, yeah. I mean, his last lap was just about 100th quicker, and still being stuck behind him. I think he's going to get this pass done in a couple laps. If not, he's going to wear his right front to shreds.
We'll see it here as they come off turns 3 and 4 to put lap 20 on the board. 100 laps to go next time by. For the fans that are watching, and you're going to see a lot of this throughout the night, you'll see us put the lower third up with the name corresponding with the position. That is an us reference. That is also a you reference as well, as some of these cars are running a number that's not what their sim number calls for. So it's a good way to just kind of tell us all who they are, gives you a chance to see their names, so we don't necessarily have to say it the entire time. We wish that we had the faces on there as well, but this is not a series that is in-house. It's not a league race. This is an official iRacing series to qualify for the road to $300,000 for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. As you see, Jackson Crowder trying to catch Kyle Petty. That last time by, Kyle Petty was faster. Maybe Brad. Kyle was kind of pedaling back a little bit, no pun to his name, to potentially save just a little bit of tire and just make Jackson Crowder use just a little bit more.
I mean, that would be a smart idea, seeing that we are quite a ways through our run here. Tires are going to start to fall off pretty soon, so managing your pace and making sure that you are not struggling for the last few laps if this were to go green. Don't want to lose that precious time.
We see the laps on our end of the thing, and a lot of you can follow along. I'm sure we'll post the live timing and scoring in the YouTube chat for both FTN and LSRTV, and which, by the way, welcome to all the race fans that are watching on both platforms as well. The lap times have kind of fallen off just a little bit. We've had about 9/10 of a second fall off. We're getting close to that 1 second range. One caution so far took out a couple drivers. This is so far been a clean race, 25 laps into it now, which no surprise, Jason. These are the best of the best. Oh, Matthew Morton around. I thought it was clean and I jinxed it. That is my fault.
Wow. That's a scary incident right there. Matthew Morton's got a lot of damage to his number 16 machine there, too. That's right rear damage. That's front end damage. That truck is definitely going to be toast. We're going to take a look here at the replay heading into 3. You're going to see we're looking at what is the 13 machine. Oh, and Brad Davies just gets loose. Made a little bit of contact hard up into the wall right there. Oh, my goodness.
I think Davies got a little bit of help there. I don't think it was on purpose, but he definitely got a little bit of help on his right rear.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about what can happen here in these trucks, because we see the next gen car quite a bit. It's harder to take the air off of the spoiler. It's hard to take the air away from these drivers. In the trucks, Brad, it's a little bit easier.
Well, I would say the turbulence in this is real life, and turbulence in the trucks is huge. It's way more than the Xfinity car. Obviously, I don't know the Cup car, but these trucks poke such a big hole in the air that getting a little bit of air off your nose can be detrimental. I mean, it's like feeling like you have a flat tire almost.
Well, I'm not biased or anything, but I think iRacing is pretty close. I don't know, unless you want to give me a chance to drive your truck.
I mean,
I'll take that silence as a no.
I mean, it's not my truck. I think that's a better answer for you.
We'll throw it out there to anybody listening. If you're a team owner somewhere and you just want an open test session, who knows? I might be the next Jeff Gordon. You just never know. I'm not that good on iRacing. Maybe I'll be pretty decent in the real world, but I just kid. Please do not put me. Please do not put me in your truck. I will have to owe you a lot of money down the road. everybody comes in for pit stops, no surprise. But I tell you what's a big surprise, Jason. One driver stayed out. That is Robbie Vrabel Jr. in the number 28 machine with just a little bit of damage there on that back deck lid. Well, he's on a lot older tires than everybody else. He pitted on lap 7.
Yeah, and this is going to be huge here for the restart for all of us here watching and all the folks at home, because the thing is with Dover, when you're on old tires, and I mean you could be 5-6 laps on older tires compared to some guys, and you can spin the tires so bad just because of the banking with, I believe it's 9 degrees of banking on the front straightaway, and then how banked you are coming off turn 4, the transition change with the little bump. There is a lot of opportunity for a lot of wheel spin here, and I would not be surprised if the 28 does cause a massive stack up or possibly a massive wreck. Knock on wood. Hopefully we don't give another commentator's curse, Terry. You've already done one tonight. Hopefully I don't do it again, because I typically have a tendency to do that. But this is going to create a very interesting restart, and Kyle Peddle is going to be on the loud pedal here on the restart, no pun intended. So Kyle Peddle should be able to get to the outside, easily pass him, along with Philip Groner. The one who's really going to have an issue passing is Jackson Crowder, the rest of the field behind him on the inside lane.
I know I'm a tad bit biased. Obviously, I started the show in my Tennessee Titans jersey. We're the next pick in the draft. So I'm not praying for a caution, but if we went, radio silent for a second, I hope the fans understand for a second that when the Titans make their selection, I'll either go mute for a little bit, or I'm going to go mute in excitement, or just get really excited about the iRacing qualifying series. Who knows? I tell you what, a lot of these drivers will know in this field is they have to try to negotiate this 28 truck as quick as possible, because they don't want to get stuck in between them, and they really do not want to get wrecked in the process of trying to weed him out. We'll find out momentarily as the iRacing sedan is getting ready to pull down pit road for the 3rd time this afternoon. As a proud University of Tennessee player just got drafted in the top 10 as the 28 machine gets on it. And quickly, Jackson Crowder's there to peek to the inside.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, about that. Jackson Crowder. Yeah, they're 3 wide right now. The 28's going to fall like an absolute rock right now. And interesting, and Brad said right there, as you see Kyle Peddle trying to go back to the lead right here. He'll head down to the bottom of the racetrack on Jackson Crowder. They're side by side. That also opens up the door for Philip Groner, and we have a yellow on the track.
That was Brad, it's like we called it. It's like we called it. And this is Jason's fault, so it's now it's your turn to jinx the field.
I think I'm going to get off.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't watch too many pixelated races, but we could have predicted that one.
When we take a look at the replay here, thanks to our producer, LSRTV.
Oh, this had nothing to do with it.
Oh, it wasn't even because of the 28.
Oof.
He just turned him.
They're getting restless back there. That's what I was saying. It's hard to pass, and these restarts are a really good opportunity for people to pick up a lot of spots, so don't be surprised to see a lot of aggressiveness from 20th on back. It happens in other series. That we see on TV every weekend.
Wow.
Shots fired from Brad Perez, but listen, I'm used to being in the 20s on iRacing, so I get it. I'm aggressive back there myself. I have no business up front unless it's Talladega. That's about the only time we figure it out up and mix and mingle in the front, but. Shocking, not shocking, Jason Rockefeller, that the 5 of Kyle Peddle did not get around Jackson Crowder right there.
No, not really, honestly, because, I mean, Jackson had the lead, and he can pinch him down as much as he wants to towards the inside, which is going to have less drive off for Kyle off the corners. And Jackson, he might, risk it by, letting the 5 lean on his door just a little bit, but he's pinching his exit. He's not getting enough drive off there, so heads up driving by Jackson Crowder. I will say I do think the caution there did save him, though, but they were going to be side by side regardless. And Philip Groner right there, the 33, he was coming as well. You got Connor Yuroshak up there, Kyler Wynn, your top 5, and Anthony Burrows still in 6th. Surprise, he hasn't really been making a lot of moves, but just give us a long run. I'm still, thinking to myself that Anthony Burrows is going to somehow, some way come up here and steal one, because he did have one stolen from him a couple weeks ago at Bristol due to the late pit call, and he's still running 6th. I still think he has something, but yeah, no. Kyle Peddle, though, I think he's going to be fast here, and these are finally going to, the 5's going to be up on the outside here on the restart, and Jackson Crowder's going to have a chance to restart on the bottom and show Kyle Peddle what he's really made of.
This definitely will be an interesting restart, Brad. As well, the crazy part about this is Robbie Vrabel Jr. only fell to 26th in a matter of a lap.
Oof, so that actually brought to my next point. I think that everybody who has taken a 2-tire strategy for track position or a no-tire strategy, this definitely helps you. I think this caution definitely helps a lot of people playing an alternate strategy, because say if you took 2, packed it full, and if we go on like a 15-20 lap run here and get another yellow, you just jumped a lot of cars, and you're able to probably take 4 tires and then try to march to the front.
That's a pretty solid strategy. I'm going to write that one down, and I'm going to use that next time I'm at a challenging racetrack. Take 2 tires, hope the field junks themselves, and roll for it. But we'll see how that one goes for me. I'll hopefully see you at a racetrack down the road and be like, hey, your strategy worked really great. You gave it to me round race 6 in the eNASCAR qualifying series, and who knows? Maybe I'll sneak a win out or get a good top 5. But 33 laps are about to hit this board. We have only seen 2 big real movers. Octavio Rondoletto's up to 12th. We got Eddie Kerner up to 16th. He's up 17 positions. Jason, not a lot more to talk about in the field.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's really kind of mixed it up a lot recently. And look at Kwame Scott. Well, when we started covering here for the eNASCAR qualifying Road to Pro iRacing series, Kwame was one of the guys we talked to during pre-race, and he's been having some solid runs here these last few weeks. I expect Kwame Scott in that number 9 machine to do great things. He's been in the top 10 all night pretty much. Look for Kwame to probably get up there. Maybe if we get a long run here, Kwame might be able to work his way up into the top 5, but we'll have to see what he's got for these guys ahead of him.
We'll see what these drivers have. We'll also see the triple screens
are
back. So we'll see the triple screen. Well, we'll also see the Titans pick, because
the pick
is in. We're going to get ready to see if we're either going to have the biggest bust in the draft like we did last year with Malik Willis or Isaiah Wilson, or are we going to hit the jackpot with Mike Vrabel and Ron Carnathan? Great team players as triple screens are on your board. Green flags back in the air. Lap 34 is here and among us, and what a restart there from Jackson Crowder. Goodbye to the field.
Yeah, and that opens up the door for Philip Groner right there in the 33 machine, and the 5 Kyle Peddle is loose off turn number 2. The field, though, all gets through the back straightaway unscathed, still side by side for second, and here comes Kyler Wynn in the 23 machine. He's going to just barely clear the 11 of Connor Urashak off turn number 4, and they're into 3 now. The 5 finally gets to the bottom of Groner here as they work into 2, Brad.
Oh man, really, really slick moves here in the front. That 5 car is going to be super aggressive to try to get this lead back, so if he gets mired back in 3rd or 4th, he will not be able to set the pace of this race like he was previously.
We're going to see what's going to happen as you're seeing battles all over the racetrack. You see it here. We have a tail end at the moment on your bottom right. We have the top right corners, the battle for the lead, or what's about to be the battle for the race lead. Wow, we're really sailing it in there, boys, all the way around this racetrack. You see the battle for 6 down here. Oh, come on. The Titans are stupid. That was a dumb pick. But at the end of the day, great production work from LSRTV and Charles Wooten. That was a really stupid pick, Brad.
I don't think you guys really needed a guard.
We didn't.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
I would have picked a lot of other things than a guard. Maybe a receiver.
Yeah.
But a lot of these drivers would pick a win. I don't think the Titans just picked the win. The Titans just picked a DNF, as we put it in racing terms, as Raul Alves is making the pass here on the low side, trying to get to the ninth place position over the 31 of Dallas Patska. We'll see if that pans out here. As this is really good racing so far, Jason, with only a couple cautions.
Yeah, man, it's Dover. I don't care what anybody says. People like to say this is a one-lane racetrack. But this is the thing, man. It's a driver's racetrack. You either love it or you hate it, and it's all about tire conservation at the end of the day. You can just see the struggle out of the 31 right here of Dallas Pataska in that iRacing machine. He is struggling to get back to the bottom. We had one truck actually just hit the wall right there, and I don't know. Is that the 30? Is that the 32? 33 right there? I think that was Philip Groner. I'm not too sure right there.
He didn't go falling down my leaderboard. I think that was a lap down car that has been tore up already. That was Garrison Hogan in the number 32 that had already beaten the wall down a couple times. Just like the Titans fans are beating their head against the wall, he beat the wall as well. Well, side by side in front of Raul Alves, it's the 9 of Kwame Scott is trying to take it right there to Dallas Patska. We'll see if that works out. But man, Brad, close racing so far. It looks like the 25's gonna, he's gonna get under the 27. Almost turned him.
Yeah, and as we are throwing haymakers for 10th and 11th right here, Jackson Crowder is pulling away out front. He's setting sail. This is exactly what I thought would happen if the 5 didn't get anywhere near there. I don't think the 23 and the 33 kind of have the pace for the 14, so peace sign out the window here, start to conserve.
He's definitely getting him the Tyreek Hill to run with the NFL references we have so far here this afternoon. Jackson Crowder needs a win to put himself up here in the front to be a strong contender for split or round 2. He's pretty solidly in the top 70, but this is a good little insurance to put himself up here and get this. And Kyler Wynn having a tremendous run there in the 23, riding in second. Kind of closing in, but not necessarily hounding him quite a bit. Jason, he's just not putting the pressure on him like we thought he would. Maybe he's pulling the same strategy that Crowder had, and just kind of backing off and letting him try to pull away.
Yeah, they could be for sure. And that last time by, Crowder with a .73, Kyler Wynn with a .70, Philip Groner with a .73. Everybody is really in the 70 bracket right there all the way until you get back to Dallas Pataska there, the 31 machine, who's 8th, who ran a 23.82. So everybody's really kind of, I don't know if they're in tire conservation mode fully. I think Kyler Wynn and Philip Groner are both trying to run down Jackson as much as they can without using as much right front wear. I mean, it's going to be really hard to do that. We talk about it, just like I said, Dover's a one-lane racetrack practically, and it's a driver's racetrack. You either love it or you hate it, and you're just going to be saving constantly over and over again. All throughout the race for these 120 laps, we've already had a few cautions, so they've had a few breaks. But maybe this is the time now here, Brad, where we might just get a long green flag run.
Well, that might be so, and with that being said, I'm not sure exactly what the iRacing calculation. I know just previously from racing experience here, usually you can go about 75 to 80 laps on a tank of gas. Not sure what the math is for the iRacing one, but I think we'll be able to make it pretty long here, but I think tires are going to be more of a concern than fuel at this point.
That's the same issue I had yesterday in the Xfinity Series car for the PRL. The tires was the big issue. You could go about 45 to 50 laps before, you were just like, I don't want to be out here no more. I also charged the corner quite a bit. I didn't understand lifting early. I just thought attack. But you don't attack Dover, Jason. You just kind of, it beats you up so much. And that's probably why I got in the wall.
Yeah, you don't race the racetrack. The racetrack races you practically, and that's the thing. You're not driving your truck. You're driving the racetrack. And it's the same way with tracks like, for example, I think of like Darlington and some other tracks as well. But like Darlington and Dover are two really big driver racetracks when it comes to the top 3 series in NASCAR, especially here for the eNASCAR qualifying Road to Pro iRacing series. Dover is a track where you just really, really do not know if you're going to be well or if you're going to struggle. I talked to Kenny Brady right before the race, who's running split number 1 tonight. He's currently 5th for Tranquility Esports, and he told me, man, I just hate this racetrack. I absolutely suck here, and he just could not figure out what to do no matter what he did, whether it was a different spring, an adjustment, track bar, camber, whatever it may be in the truck. I'm not good at setting up these trucks, you know. I only know so much, but, you know, he told me it's just really difficult to race here because you're either good here or you're really bad.
Well, Brad, I got to ask you, you race on iRacing. Do you buy your setups or do you make your own?
I do not race enough to even consider setups. Usually I just kind of mess with them on my own if I'm in an open lobby and just send it. You know?
That's really a good idea. I tell you what the NASCAR setup shop is, and that's Bocconi Setup Shop, where you can go purchase all of your you can purchase all your setup needs in any car that they build, which is quite a ton. Bocconi Entertainment. I don't know if I can plug that on here without getting in trouble, but I will because I don't care. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff around there from Bocconi Setup Shop, and remember, they're their setups, but they're your victories. And Jason, that was ad-libbed all the way. I have no sheets of paper in front of me.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I can't really do that with my severe ADHD. That's very hard to do for me, and I stutter a lot.
Smooth.
So, yeah, that was smooth. I keep calling this guy at my work Slick Rick, and you're like Slick Rick. You're smooth with it, Terry. You've always been smooth with it. But hey, you know, these tires are starting to settle in really, really big here. Looking at the lap times, Jackson Crowder, who's currently still in the lead over Kyler Wynn by just a little over a second to 10th. His best lap was a 23.10. That was very earlier on in the race, and mind the fact that was on a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles. That last time around, 24.29, so over a second of tire fall off since we last went back green from the restart from the previous caution. So it just goes to show you here, Brad, how much tires mean here at Dover.
Oh yeah, you're going to start to see your tire-saving gurus shine right here. Who's going to make up the time, and on top of that, who can make a move? I mean, saving tires is one thing. Being able to make the move on your competitor is another thing. Really, the only way to pass here is just set somebody up off the corner and get a good run on the exit of 2 or exit of 4. And we're kind of seeing it close here, but not quite.
I tell you what's a really good way to make a pass, and that's getting a Logitech wheel and pedal set, which is the official wheel and pedal set of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Cha-ching. You just rack them up, and you can watch Las Vegas, May the 2nd, Tuesday nights on eNASCAR.live. As cars smacking the wall right in front of the car.
We got a car around.
There's the 31 around on the high side. Oh, he saved it, but caution flag is out anyhow.
Oh, that just ruined so many strategies.
I could think of a few that it ruined.
Oh.
Matthew Batby would be one of them who pitted on lap 30.
Oh, that's going to be terrible.
He definitely got some help right here. He got put in the wall. Yeah. And then right here, he just comes down.
Oh.
All down into him.
I don't know what the 12 was doing there.
I think he was doing what you do in an open race, just sending it.
Oh, wait.
It's an open, boys.
Maybe they're stopping to get a Wendy's Biggie bag.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, okay, what I'm thinking about here is we're pitting on lap 60 of 120. If you pit now, you can make it to the end on a can of gas, but I can imagine if another caution comes out, they're going to have to pit for tires.
But now I pose the question. Now it's even more question time, because we're at the halfway point of this race. Do you potentially go in full conservation mode? We're good on fuel, but tire-wise, is this tire management 101 for a lot of these drivers to just go back to the basics, don't necessarily push it until the last 15 laps maybe?
Ah, man, it's tough. I mean, seeing how this race has gone with the yellows, I mean, you're on one end of the stick. Either you try to go for it, make up as much track position as possible so that when the yellow comes out, you're in a good track position and then you can go hard to the end. Or do you save thinking that we won't get a caution and try to make that set of tires last until the end of the race? I find it hard to believe that we're going to make it all the way to the end under green, but we shall see.
We won't consider that at all a commentator's curse, because that was right on the money. And I think the producer said I had a question somewhere. Well, you give the iRacing Midway's race break, where if you want all of your latest news and updates from the world of eNASCAR, scan the QR code. Or if you want to be a part of iRacing, you can go to iRacing.com. It is your portal for the iRacing world. You can start your career today. Who knows? You might find yourself in the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series. You might be annoyed the entire time that you have to hear my voice. That's fine. Or you might race with me at the super speedway stuff, and who knows? There's a couple leagues that are coming out there down the road here for LSRTV, and you can also join us at LSRTV. If you're looking into getting into producing or announcing, message us on Facebook or at livesimracingtv.com. And we need an LSRTV email. I almost went full on just read mode at that moment. But I tell you, I'm a big fan of iRacing. I'm not biased at all, Brad, but this is a really good place to build a community.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, from doing online racing before I was able to race a real car, this is definitely something that without, I probably wouldn't be in the situation that I was, meeting all the people that you meet, learning the skills that you learn. I mean, look at all these beautiful trucks on the racetrack. Those are designers that learn how to do this, and some of them end up designing real trucks in real life. So there's so many different facets that online racing can teach you about real racing. And heck, if you don't even care about real racing, you could have a ton of fun on the service. You can even race with me. I usually do Formula V hot lapping sessions at Scooby-Doo Oval at like 3 a.m. So if you want to join, be my guest.
You guys heard that there. We need to clip that. That's Brad Perez giving an iRacing plug. We love iRacing plugs around here. I try to fit them in with the eNASCAR stuff as much as possible. But yeah, without iRacing, without this, I never would have went and ventured off into the real world racing and doing the Carolina Pro Late Model and Crate Mod Series, and maybe something else down the road. We'll hopefully announce that in 2 or 3 years whenever I've learned a couple other good keys and skills that I might need. I got the ad reading thing down pat. Just give me an ad, or just tell me to shout it out. I think we're on par right there to figure that one. Pace car is down on pit lane again. Jackson Crowder, Kyler Wynn to the outside this time. Teammates on the front row. Green flags back in the air. Lap number 63 is upon us. We'll see, can Philip Groner or Kyle Pettle work their way up here to get this race win?
Yeah, we'll have to see. And the two teammates, they shoot out of the cannon here through turns 1 and 2. You see the 33 machine.
Big wreck. Oh my goodness.
That's huge.
Oh, that's a lot of them.
That's 7 trucks
That's a
practically,
lot.
I think.
Oy.
I saw 2 trucks go up in the air. There's your flip on the back straightaway, Terry.
I'm telling you, something's in the water when you get past 25th.
Well, we'll see here. 3 wide with the 3 in the middle. That normally doesn't last too quick as River Hayes gets in the wall, and that's a bad ending to what's been a very good week for the Maconi Setup Shop, announcing just a couple days ago that they are going to be the official partner of iRacing for the Coke Series, the College Series if it returns in the fall, and they're going to be the official title sponsor for the C Fixed races on iRacing now. So if you're racing the Maconi C Fixed truck, and go for it as he gets in the middle and just goes up the racetrack and around. Everybody goes hard into the wall. He goes, bam, and that is a lot of trucks torn up on the back straightaway.
It's tough being in the middle right there. I mean, especially on the restart, tires are cold. Differing tire strategies. I would assume he was on stickers as well. I mean, I would assume it tightens up over the run, so you start off a little loose, and he just kind of lost it there.
Jason, a lot of people just came down pit road again.
Yeah, that is factual. And I don't know if that's going to play out the best with as many cautions as we had. We had Nate Stewart Nate Stewart, the 2, the 22, the 26, the 3. Brad Davies as well after spinning earlier on. He's back on pit road. Caden Rush, Eddie Kerner, Matthew Morton, and many, many other drivers. But, I mean, this has been one heck of a Dover race. I mean, so far we've had everything from 2 cars going up in the air, pirouetting. We've had spins. We've had tempers almost. It's been a Dover race that maybe we could get one of them this weekend, hopefully. And hopefully it'll become on Sunday. Hopefully no
Jason
race,
and Terry,
it's still Monday.
I have a point here with these guys that just pitted. So, sorry, I'm having a brain blast right now. If you are right now, if you are about 14th on back, which is I believe the guys that pitted, everybody from 22nd on back is out of the race, just about. I mean, there's no way that these guys are really gonna recover from this. I would say if you're about anywhere between 20th to 27th, you're probably damaged. So if you're back there, why not pit? Top it off. I wouldn't take tires at this point, but if you top it off, it makes the truck just a little looser over the long run. And on top of that, any little changes that you might have needed from that restart, you're able to make those changes and not lose that many spots, because now half of the field is out of the race just about.
And this is why you drive a real life race car, and we're just announcers. Is that the Jimmy Neutron brain blast? It will never, ever leave my mind. When somebody says brain blast, I instantly go to Jimmy Neutron. It'll forever be implanted. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you got 19th, 20th, and 21st coming down pit lane. Brad Davies, Justin Lowry came down pit road. They're up 16 and 14 positions. So why not try to flip the strategy? You're already in the back. You're already there. What's to lose? Nothing. You've had a really good run so far. You've gained a lot of positions here this afternoon after a bad qualifying thing. But to reset your top 10, Jackson Crowder, Kyler Wynn, Kyle Peddle, Philip Groner, Mitchell Hunt, Connor Euroshak, Anthony Burrows, Dallas Patska, Kwame Scott, and Ben Badford rounds out your top 10. Yeah. We could call it. That was a good one. I thought that was that played out good with the squat thing there.
Kwame squat. Oh my god.
Well, I'm sure when he watches this back, I'll get a good DM that says, "Terry, you idiot." I get that quite often after a broadcast.
He said Kwame squat.
Yeah, old Carrot Top over there has got me on that one. It's a mouthful to read the top 10, okay? This spot over here is not easy.
Kwame squat. I can't, man. That's too good. Oh, it's too funny.
We'll mute Jason for the rest of the broadcast. No. It was good talking to him this afternoon. We're going to get ready to go back green here. As Jackson Crowder gets ready to go. Kyler Wynn on the outside lane. Third on back, not necessarily up on the loud pedal. Up on the wheel is the 11 machine of Connor Euroshak. Did not get a good restart there. The bottom lane seemed to be the preferred one. Jason, they come roaring into turn one, side by side for third.
Yeah, and Brad's right. We got 3 wide right here. You don't want to see this right now. They're 3 wide off turn number 2. That's a couple trucks right there. That's Anthony Burrows trying to go to the bottom of the 11 of Euroshack here into turns 3 and 4. And he's going to get right past them here as Dallas Pataska tries to put the 11 under fire here as they work their way into one. And here comes Kwame Scott flying through this field here on the inside lane, Brad, as they work off 2.
Yeah, on this restart, looks like they're ganging up on that 11 truck, Bristol style. You pin somebody up on the top lane, fill that hole, send them all the way to the back. Hopefully he can recover from this. Same thing with the 24 right here.
The 24 getting shoved to the outside. That's Mitchell Hunt. He's going to get a look underneath from Anthony Burrows in the FTN 62 Chevy. Good to see the paint schemes working. Trading Paint's giving us a little bit of issues. We'll see if he can go up there. The 11 machine, the 11 on our screen, or the 54, whatever the driver was up there in the front is. We got contact back there behind the 11 for the 10th place, or the 9th place position. But he saved it, I think. He did save it.
No way. No way he kept it out of the wall. No way. way.
What a save.
That thing was headed right to the back.
We got to run that back. Wow.
That's good. That's good driver skill from the Nexus driver back there, Ben Bafford. I don't know how he saved that either. I look up, I'm thinking we're wrecking, and I'm ready to see the yellow light turn on, and we're not wrecking. So we keep it green and clean to put lap 73 on the board. They're not tire saving, Brad. I don't think any of these drivers are tire saving at all.
Yeah, lap 72, I mean, you got to go. I think with the amount of yellows that have kind of buffered that first pit stop, I really think it's now you have to go now. You never know when that caution is going to come out. Keep your track position, hold it near and dear to your bosom, and make sure you don't get fallen back there like the 24 hopefully doesn't get pinned back there.
We'll see if the 24, as Philip Groner is going to go underneath here for the fifth place or for the fourth place position. He's currently riding in the P5 spot for EPI, trying to pass the Nexus driver. There's a lot of transparency through this field when it comes to setup building and teams that they're on.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, Brad, I got a question for you, man. You race in ARCA from time to time, the trucks, and also the Xfinity car. I want to know from the driver's point of view. You just said that these guys know they know it's go time. They never know when a caution's going to come out. Have you or anybody any of the other drivers that you've raced against? Do you think to yourself, all right, well, we just had multiple cautions. Let's maybe we should try to get going a lot more. Maybe be a little bit more aggressive because we never know when that next caution is going to come out.
Well, the difference I would say with the National Series is that everybody's going all the time. Like, contrary to popular belief, you might hear a commentator say, "Hey, I think they're going now." It's like, no, since the drop of the green flag, I was getting doored for 35th. So everybody is going all the time. There is no saving anything in the top 3 series of NASCAR.
See, we don't have that over here that much in iRacing. There's a lot of tire saving gets in it. They're still fast. Like you see the block right here from Anthony Burrows trying to block. That would be Dallas Patska in the 23 that he's trying to hold off and trying to block. It's working for him, but that also scrubs a little bit of speed, changes your entry to the corner. It hasn't hurt Anthony Burrows yet as he still rides in the 6th place position, but there's a big difference, obviously, between iRacing and what the real world is. You talk about getting door banged in the rear of the field, but iRacing-wise, do you find yourself having to save twice as much as what you would in the real life?
I mean, there is a part of saving, but I think when you get to this high level of strength of field in a series like Road to Pro, I mean, you could say that some of these guys are saving, but I guarantee they'll tell you, I'm going 70, 80%. We're still going pretty hard to try to maintain our track position, not put yourself in a bad spot. And that's pretty close to real life as well. I mean, there's a different way to save in real life than there is in the game or the sim, but all in all, it's still go time. These guys are still having to go hard even when they're tire saving.
We're close. I mean, we're dwindling laps down. We got 40 laps to go. If I think my math is correct, and it is. I looked up and realized that my math actually was right for the first time ever. I'm telling you, that Alabama education, Jason, it tends to be good sometimes.
Yeah, I'm from Florida, so I can't say much.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who might have the highest education here. I'm from Jersey, so we're up there. But at the same time, Jersey's the worst place in the world. Never come here. Never come here. I'm from here. I've lived here my whole life. Don't ever come to Jersey, man. This is not the place to be. But really, the place to be right now is up in the lead like Jackson Crowder is right now. He's still got about half a second, 4/10 over Kyle Pettle right now.
Good to see Kyle Pettle work his way back up to second. He gets around Mitchell Hunt, winning to put himself in the P2 position, but he's still about a 10th slower than Jackson Crowder is at the moment. That time was right at a 10th. Separates those two, so the clean air definitely playing a big dividend there for the 14 machine. And I remember the famous words that I told you, Jason, if we don't want you in Georgia, there's enough people moving down here, we don't want them. Go back, stay in Jersey. I have no beef with Jersey. There's just not a whole lot of, I would say not a whole lot of education there.
Yeah, well, from what you were telling me in the area, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of education down there in Georgia. So shots fired back, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, for being up here in Jersey, man, all we got is the beach, man, and the beaches aren't nothing here. I don't understand why all the New Yorkers want to come here when they have Coney Island. Do not come here. The beaches here are terrible. You never want to come to Jersey. The only reason you should come to Jersey is to either A, come to Wall Stadium, or to New Jersey Motorsports Park. Those are the only two places you're coming here to do, or go to the dirt tracks in Bridgeport or New Egypt. Other than that, do not go to the beaches. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, I'm sure, Brad, you've seen a lot of cool things on your traveling here with the National Touring Series of NASCAR and ARCA. But what's the weirdest thing you've seen at a racetrack?
Oh, weirdest thing I've seen at a racetrack. I saw someone arrested on the grid of Pocono in 2021. Straight up during final adjustments. He was just arrested, just like that.
Maybe kind of curious if anybody found out what for?
It is well documented on TobyChristie.com. Shout out TobyChristie.com.
I do enjoy
and,
Toby Christie.
Yeah, it was a sting operation.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was worse than that.
We will have to
I'll
look
leave that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big shout out to TobyChristie.com. Always puts very good articles out, and Taylor Kitchens puts good podcast stuff up with the race and good entertainment out there. So if any of them are happen to be watching, a big fan, big fan of what they do over at TobyChristie.com. But there's Dallas Patska sitting there in the 31 machine, currently 7th. Has gotten blocked a couple times by Anthony Burrows in the 4 machine. Not just kind of settling out here. Tires are a bit gone so far as we go through the field. Connor Euroshak in 9th. Jason, we've single filed out, and I don't want to jinx it again, but I think Barney's going to hold a flag for a long time.
Yeah, he might really just do that. I think these guys might be done wrecking, but you know, I mean, you never know. Brad said you never know when these cautions are going to fall, and it's the truth, man. 31 to go. I mean, you very well could see a caution come out when Jackson Crowder, whoever's leading at the time, is coming off 4. It happens, man. I mean, we didn't think we were going to get, you know, cautions at Bristol, and I believe it set us up into an overtime finish. And I mean, what are you going to do? It's just the way that racing goes sometimes. And I mean, though, Jackson Crowder and the rest of these guys up at the front of the field, like you look at Anthony Burrows here, who is still in 6th place right now, is currently neutral. He has not gained, he has not lost any positions from where he started, so maybe he's hoping to have a little bit more luck. Also, 30 laps to go. You got to think to yourself, too, here, Brad. Tire wear is going to be a factor, but do you save more tire now, or do you continue to go, like you said earlier?
So I think going right now is probably the best idea. So I've been following the guys that pitted last, and the highest person on newer tires right now is Brad Davies. He's 17th. So I don't think that their strategy quite worked out for him. I think right now keeping your track position, but making sure that if you were to split this run in half, be the first one to pit, but be early. I think if you're later in the pit cycle, you could possibly get screwed by that caution, and plus you won't get the full extent of those fresh tires. So we'll see.
We will see. And Brad, there was one thing I meant to ask you, and I meant to ask you in pre-race. You do a lot of, I haven't seen it quite often, but the Mohawk Foundation is the one thing that I pay attention to Twitter. And you do a good bit of work over there with them. That's a really good foundation to be a part of.
Yeah, Ryan Hoover. It supports a lot of great racers as well throughout the community of sim racing and in real life. The Mohawk Foundation raises funds for those diagnosed with ALS and breast cancer, and helps those families with their treatments.
He's a really good guy. I meant to say thank you a whole lot earlier before we got into the race broadcast and before we got on air, but I'll say it to everybody else. But I appreciate everything you do over there for them, and he's a really good guy. It's good to have conversations with him Not as frequent as it used to be, but a really good overall, just down-to-earth guy to talk to, and does a lot of good work within the community to make people's day just a little bit better and try to help people that definitely need the help as they're battling with something that's a far worse than a virtual car. But at the moment, we have no changes in this field. There's a little bit of a battle creeping up a little further up here, but 21 cars still sit on the lead lap, 22nd on back, 1 lap down or more. With a ton of wrecking, there is not a whole lot of moving here. We got a little bit of a move right there. This is a lap down car up to the outside lane as Philip Groner still in a fight with Burrows. And then you got Dallas Patka still sitting back there as well, trying to work their way up into the 5th place position. Everybody wants it, but currently at the moment, it's Philip Groner's spot to lose.
Yeah, and really just Anthony Burrows and all those other guys behind him are really just hunting him down. You see that 23 machine who's 31 up on our scoring pile, and that's Dallas Pataska there. They're just really chasing down Philip Groner here, and they're just waiting for him to make a mistake, maybe off 2 or off 4, and trying to open up the door for Anthony to try to get by him here. But I keep talking about it throughout this broadcast and during the pre-race. It's a 1-lane racetrack, man. You got to save those tires. It's a driver's track. You got to make sure you can take every opportunity that you can get. One slip up by that number 11 or 33, whatever you want to deem it as, and the 62 and the 23 are going to absolutely eat him up here. If he gets loose out of 2 or loose out of 4 here, it's going to open up the door, and who knows when he's going to be able to get back in line, especially with the tires being as worn out as they are right now.
Still waiting. We'll get 20 laps to go when they come across the start-finish line. There it is, right on cue. Exactly how we planned it, as I would say 20 to go, and it would pop up on the board as well. Appreciate everybody for watching the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series on LSRTV and FTN. A good simulcast partnership there. We should continue this all the way in to round 2, which we have 2 more races to go. We'll take a little bit of a break, and we'll see you again a little further on. As there goes Anthony Burrows, the 33 or the 11, as we would say, slides up the racetrack there, and there's the side-by-side battle for 5th, Brad.
Yeah, it's heating up. I mean, it's really a battle of track position. You want to get this pass done as quickly as you can, so you're not wasting your tires, because I know that these 3 guys behind them are licking their chops, saying, oh, they're wasting their tires, and we're going to pounce on them as soon as they settle up this scuffle.
You see the side-by-side down the back straightaway they go into 3 and 4. No contact, racing really respectful. Groner goes up to the outside. Jason, you said it was a 1-lane racetrack, but Groner gets loose off the exit. He's making that outside lane work. It's one of the first times we've seen it this afternoon where he's really able to go up there and use a 1.5 second move on this racetrack to keep Anthony Burrows down.
Yeah, and it's definitely because of the worn-out tires. Everybody's a little bit equalized and stuff like that, and the bottom's not as fast as it normally is, but it is the way to go if you want to save those tires. But just because of these 2 being side-by-side, look at the door open. And also, Dallas Pataska, he opened up the door wide open for Dalton Collins and Kwame Scott. So that's a 5-truck race, almost a 6-truck race here. If you put Connor Euroshak and also Octavio Rondoletto behind them, this is practically a 7-truck race right here just for the 5th place right now. So these guys are really going at it here with just 15 laps to go as everybody's trying to get every point they can, because in the Road to Pro qualifying series, every single position matters.
And it does. Points are a big premium if you want to get your way into round number 2 of this series. You can't fall behind, and this is one of the trap racetracks that's on the schedule. Bristol obviously was a big trap for a lot of people, and now Dover has eliminated quite a few people that their chances potentially were crushed here tonight, that they are not going to make it into the top 70 to put themselves in round number 2. It's not looking that case for Jackson Crowder, who has pulled away, and we've got a battle for the lead heating up, actually, because it's a 1/10 of a second between him and Kyle Peddle. It is definitely closed down from the last time I glanced at the race lead. It's 2/10, and, well, a 1/10 of a second faster that time for Kyle Peddle. He's there.
I was watching the interval, and I saw half a second, and it just went down to 2/10 within probably a corner.
Yeah, he's there, and it is not even close. That time by even time at about 5. Actually saw any driver stay with it, and starting now. We talked about it a little earlier, about 5 laps ago. That outside lane, Jason, starting to get utilized more and more by these drivers. They're starting to figure out, okay, tires are worn. Let's go up here and try to find speed. And this is a big thing that a lot of drivers do in the sim and in the real world, hunting for speed. And he's found it in the tune of not being in the tire tracks of Jackson Crowder.
Yeah, and that's the great thing. You're noticing right now as we're looking at that number 5 machine of Kyle Peddle, he keeps going up a little bit higher. And notice here entering one, Jackson Crowder all the way to the bottom. That time by the 54, it's funny. I think both of these trucks are listed as 54 with their SIN stamp numbers, but on the leaderboard, they are both the 14 and the 5. So I just kind of think it's funny. But you see it, Kyle Peddle there in the 5. He's going a little bit higher than Jackson Crowder. And notice that Jackson caught the attention of Kyle Peddle right there. Jackson really kind of caught it, that Kyle was running a little bit different line, and now Jackson's kind of altered his line just a slight bit. But Kyle was heading up to the outside just a little bit entering the corner, then diamonding off the corner. So he's trying to find every single piece of real estate he can have here off the corners, trying to gain to Jackson Crowder and hopefully pounce on him.
Under 10 laps to go, we now put 8 on the board. Lap traffic moves out of the way. No sense in racing the leaders for a spot that you've already lost. We have a 1/10 of a second fight on our hands for the race lead in the overall win. To get as many points as possible to award yourself to make it into round number 2 of the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series. If you're just joining us, you caught a really good battle. I'm Terry Radford, Jason Rockefeller, Brad Perez, driver in the Craftsman Truck Series and the Xfinity Series as well. Brad, does Kyle have enough to get around Jackson Crowder?
Oh man, they're so even. You can almost tell that Peddle's truck is just a little tight. But the first one in the front, the first 54, I mean, he's able to wrap the bottom. You can see it's kind of getting a little loose on exit, but that's kind of what you want to be able to get the power down. Depending on where this traffic falls, could be the determining factor in this race.
Really hope that the lap traffic moves out of the way as we come out of turns 3 and 4. We'll put ourselves with 5 laps to go. Barney gives them the big high 5 on top of the flag stand. Kyle Peddle doing everything that he can in that 5 machine. Listed 54 on the screen, but this is exactly why we put the lower thirds down there for everybody to see. Lap traffic moves up the racetrack, up the hill. We'll see here. Lap time by, or the last time by lap time, it was 3/100ths of a second. This time by, it is 2/100ths of a second, and that time it was Jackson Crowder faster, so they're flip-flopping times, Jason, coming to 3 to go.
Yeah, and look at this right here. Kyle Peddle, he's got the advantage. He gets right up to the rear tailgate of Jackson Crowder entering turn number 3. Had to back out of the throttle just a little bit to make sure he didn't watch up the racetrack or get into the back. But right now, sim stamp-wise, it's a 54 versus 54 show right now. The 14, Jackson Crowder, has dominated here in the second half at Dover. But Kyle Peddle is looking to steal one away here as they're approaching 2 laps to go. And by the way, lap traffic ahead.
Kyle Peddle dominated the first part of this race. Jackson Crowder got the run, got around him on the restart, and I think I hear a groan in the background. Normally, that means that there's something happening on the racetrack that might cause us to put a
pedal got into the wall a little bit. I was like, oh no.
Coming to 1 lap to go. Can Jackson Crowder hold Kyle Peddle off, who is pushing it for all he's worth? He's loose off the 4, almost just kissed the chances of winning goodbye. Is 1 lap in the air for the eNASCAR qualified iRacing series. Jackson, that the race off at 3 and 4. round number 6 is going to go to Jackson Crowder with Kyle Peddle and Kyler Wynn, putting himself in the top 3 here this afternoon. That was an entertaining race from start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kyle Peddle really gave Jackson Crowder a run for his money, and Brad with the moans and groans there off turn number 4. You saw the 5 machine. He got into the wall just a slight bit off turn number 4, and that's all it takes is a little scrape, just a kiss of that safer barrier there off turn number 4, and that's ultimately probably what lost Kyle Peddle the race. I mean, regardless of how hard it is to pass, Kyle would have been in a way better position here coming to the 1 lap to go signal. But, I mean, unfortunately just got into the wall and then got really loose coming to the white flag. But overall, congratulations to Jackson Crowder, though. Definitely a deserving win for that number 54 machine.
Yeah, I was absolutely rooting for Kyle Peddle. I mean, man, what an entertaining race. I was really rooting for Kyle Peddle at the end there because I think he had the car to beat. But congratulations, Jackson Crowder. Ran a perfect race. Great setup. I mean, that thing looked pretty tuned up. So, yeah, exciting race. Thank you guys for having me. That was fun to call with you guys.
Yeah, it tends to be fun sometimes. We try to lighten up and have just a fun. We'll go over our unofficial race results powered by LiveSimRacingTV.com. It's Jackson Crowder, Kyle Peddle, Kyler Wynn, Mitchell Hunt, Andrews Phillip Groner, Dallas Patska, Kwame Scott, Dalton Collins, and Connor Urashak rounding out your top 10, Jason.
Yeah, rounding out the top 20, you got Octavio Rondeletto there, the number 12. He'll come home P11. Santiago Tierrez, 12. Seth Reitzer there in the 34 machine. He'll come home 13th. Ben Bafford, 14th. Max Brady, 15th. Jordan Kuhn, 16th. Brad Davies rebounds for a 17th place run. Justin Lowry in 18th. Matthew Batby in 19th. And James Wenzel comes home in the 20th position.
We'll start getting into the used car lot here as River Hayes was the last car to finish on the lead lap in 21st. You got Petey Zeeler. I'm going to go with Zeeler in 22nd. Robbie Vrabel Jr. 23rd. Lawson Peel, Garrison Hogan, Matthew Morton, Caden Rush, Nate Stewart, Raul Alves, and Eddie Kerner rounds out the 30th place position. We'll go back to finish out the rest of the field as Sander Niehoff, Will Cooley, Tyler Groff, Matt Swack, and Nathan Nicholson. 114 laps down, respectively, in the 35th position. We do have one driver in the Discord so far, so we'll mute over here. We'll go over there and grab Kyle Peddle. That is P2. We'll stand by for our producer to tell us that we're all good to grab Mr. Peddle, who did finish in the 2nd place position in the 5 machine. He's going to talk to Jason Rockefeller.
Kyle, you had it. You almost had it right there, man. Right there, coming off turn number 4 there. Coming to the, not the white flag, but 2 laps to go. We saw you get into the wall just a slight bit. You think right there, if you didn't make that wall contact, you wouldn't have had anything there for Jackson coming to the flag?
You know, honestly, I threw everything that I possibly could at Jackson. That one's a hard one to swallow. It's unfortunately, it's kind of what Clean Air does at Dover, but you know, we tried. We gave it hell with the Dot City Gaming Toyota Tundra there. So that's unfortunately that's a frustrating one to lose.
Yeah, and obviously you come home second tonight. Next race in just a couple weeks, you go to Darlington. Another, what I've been deeming as tonight was a driver's racetrack. You head to Darlington in a couple weeks. What's your mindset going into Darlington? Because that is the too tough to tame, the lady in black, whatever you want to call it. That's a tough racetrack, man. How do you expect to go in there in a couple weeks?
Honestly, my mindset is to survive. Unfortunately, Darlington hasn't always been my strongest track on this server, unfortunately, whether it was back in Coke or Road to Pro or any of those tracks. I seem to, unfortunately, get Darlington stripes every time I go there, so that's what we're going to try to avoid this time.
Yeah, man. Well, after your 2nd place run, who do you got to thank tonight before we send you off?
Oh, a bunch of people. So we got Duck City Gaming, Gamer Saloon. Got to thank Cody Bias, everybody back at Dead Zone for tuning the wrenches for this Toyota Tundra. If I didn't have them backing me and helping me, I don't know where I'd be without them. So those are definitely the big ones we got to thank tonight.
Well, congratulations on your second place run, man. We'll see you in a couple weeks at Darlington. That was Kyle Peddle, driver of the number 5 machine, coming home P2 here tonight, Mr. Terry Radford.
Well, it's crazy because I thought we wasn't going to get the rest of the drivers, but Brad, I'll give you Kyler Wynn.
How's it going, Kyle? This is Brad Perez.
Hello.
Hey, man. Awesome race. Fought up and was in the hunt basically all day. Was there anything that you had left for him if you thought you would have had some better track position?
No, Jackson's line was incredible. He ran a great race. We were on the same setup, but he did everything I did, but better. He did a good job at holding off Kyle at the end there. Congrats on him on winning. P3 is, I did not expect P3. I'm usually not good at short tracks, but it feels good to be on a track you actually have to drive at. First 4 races were kind of just like super speed races. Or like, yeah, first 3 races.
Well, man, awesome result. Can't be mad with P3 and keep that momentum going, dude.
Yep, I appreciate it.
Appreciate Kyler Wynn for jumping in here and chatting with us. We're going to go and grab our race winner, who's going to be standing by with Jason Rockefeller.
Mr. Jackson Crowder, man, you were absolutely on the binders. You had everything you wanted tonight, man. You had the track position, you had the tires. Man, how does it feel to come home in victory lane here after you basically had a really, really close shot just a couple weeks ago at Bristol? You came home P2 to Daniel Eberhardt, man. How does it feel to finally get to victory lane here?
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty good. It's my first second split win, 1/3 split early on. I'm looking pretty good in the points. I felt like I was really good there. We never really quite got a long run. We kind of had a couple of somewhat runs, like 20, 30 laps, and I was kind of lights out, but there at the end, like after 30, Pedal was really good. He had a lot more drive than me. So I was kind of surprised to see that, which that was the first really long run we had there at the end, but
yeah, and Kyle was talking about he threw everything. He practically threw everything, probably but the kitchen sink at you there in those last few laps, man. When you saw him gain with the gap that he had to you there towards the end of the race, you saw him closing and closing. What was going through your mind as he just kind of closed in right on your rear tailgate? Because there was a moment, I believe it was exiting 2 and heading into 3 there right over the hump below the bridge, where he got to your inside kind of, but he just couldn't get there. What was your mindset when he really got to your right rear or left rear?
I mean, I saw him coming, and obviously kind of worked me a little more as before I was driving away. So I mean, that was worrisome a little bit. At the same time, I knew once it got to me and had dirty air, you know, I mean, it was pretty hard for him to pass. He'd have to move around like he was, use up his tires some. And at the end of the day, just the way this car and track races, if he got under me, I could have just, I mean, pinched him. And I mean, he would have had to get really aggressive, really to win it, probably just the way that this track and car races, like I said. But I mean, the best thing I could do, I knew, was just run my line what was fastest for me. I couldn't really do a whole lot different, whether he was coming or falling back. So
yeah, I agree 100%, man. If somebody's been going to Dover since 2008, it's very, very hard to pass here, regardless, real life or iRacing. But man, with that being said, you come home. He won tonight. You got Darlington in a couple weeks. Who do you got to thank for tonight's victory?
I got thinking about Ryko Motorsports and the team. Spencer Kostekowicz, he helps a lot with the setups. And then Kevin Kinger with the team. Obviously been with him for a long time. He's done a lot for me. And then Ken Byron and Brad Wright and everybody over there at Ryko that kind of runs that deal. It's a good partnership that we got going on. So got to thank them. They definitely got some of the best setups out there.
Well, Terry, Brad, there you have it. Your winner, Jackson Crowder. Jackson, congratulations. We will see you in 2 weeks' time at Darlington. That's your winner, Jackson Crowder, the number 14 machine.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us here tonight. And Jason, I'll give you the floor for final thoughts here, and just see what's on the horizon.
Yeah, man, what a race! I cannot believe that Kyle Peddle almost got to Jackson Crowder right there. Just like Brad, man, in my head, I was rooting for Kyle Peddle. I want to see a side-by-side finish. Dover doesn't get enough recognition as a racetrack. I'm telling you, I love this place. I always will. I'll be so biased to this place. I'll take it to my grave. I don't care. But what a race. And now these guys only have 2 races to go before the second round starts. And we're only taking the top 70, I believe it is. So it's going to be really interesting to see with the points drop and how these guys are going to take on the next 2 races. You know, it's going to be interesting to say the least. We got Darlington and we got Charlotte, 2 racetracks that race very differently than what we race here tonight. But overall, I had an absolute blast calling it. Always do. Can't wait to see what these guys put in 2 weeks' time in Darlington.
Well, Brad, he talked about it. We go to the Lady in Black next, and talk about that from a driver's perspective, how challenging that track can be and how one little mistake could become a big mistake real quick.
Well, I have not raced at Darlington in real life, but after many times on the sim, I will say that for somebody who has a terrible attention span, Darlington will not be the place for you. I think somebody with a really good setup and a really good focus and sticks to the plan will do well at Darlington. And once again, don't hit the wall. You'll be fine.
That's always the best key. Don't hit the wall. But for all of us over here at FTN and LSRTV, for Jason Rockefeller, for Brad Perez, thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon for our coverage of Split 2 for the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series here. We'll see you 2 weeks, same time, same place from the Lady in Black at Darlington. I'm Terry Radford. Have a good week. Enjoy some short track late model racing maybe. I don't know. That's like Saturday at 8 Eastern. Good night. Have a good week, and goodbye.